George Miller was a psychologist known for his contribution to cognitive psychology, especially his work on short-term memory and information processing. Here are some key facts about learning theory. Miller is famous for introducing the idea of chunking. He found that people can only hold about 7 pieces of information, plus or minus 2. In short-term memory, by grouping information into larger chunks, we can remember more. His famous work, The Magical Number 7 plus or minus 2, suggested that humans have a limited capacity to process information, particularly in working memory. Miller was a key figure in the cognitive revolution, which shifted focus from behaviorism, studying behavior, to understanding how the mind processes information. He viewed the brain as an information processor similar to how computers work, which was a new way of thinking about learning at the time. Miller's research focused on how we store and recall information in the short term, an important aspect of how we learn. These concepts are foundational in understanding how people processes and retain information.
Everyone, my name is Larissa Patihin, and I am here to cite the achievement of George Miller. George Miller is a psychologist. He is a founder of cognitive psychology and cognitive neuroscience. He is famous for his paper, The Magical of Number 7 plus or minus 2. We discuss the limits of human sensory memory. George Miller is best known for directing Mad Max series, which revolutionized the action of genre, and continued by Ruben Abbes and Jeanine Ginzot.
Awarded the National Medal of Science in 1991 for his contribution of psychology, and Miller developed WordNet, a lexical database of English, which has become a crucial tool in computational linguistics.
Next on George Miller's achievement is the Academy Award. He won an Academy Award for Mad Max Fury Road in 2015, which also earned a global recognition. Next is his versatile filmmaker. Besides action films, he directed Babe and Happy Feet, showcasing his versatility. And the last one is his environmental activism. His films often include themes of environmental activism, reflecting his commitment to social issues. So that's all. Those are the achievements of George A. Miller.
George Miller is an Australian filmmaker and screenwriter best known for his work for the film industry. Some of his notable achievements include Mad Max. Miller created and directed the iconic series, started with Mad Max 1979, followed by Mad Max 2 1981. It also includes the Happy Feet, innovative storytelling, and The Witches of Eastwick. Miller received numerous accolades, including the several AACTA awards and international recognition for his contribution in the cinema. Thank you.
George Armitage Miller was an American psychologist who was one of the founders of cognitive psychology and more broadly of cognitive science. He also contributed to the birth of psycholinguistics. Miller wrote several books and directed the development of WordNet, an online word linkage database usable by computer programs.
He authored the paper The Magical 7 plus or minus 2, which revealed the capacity of 7 for human short-term memory capacity. This paper is frequently cited by psychologists or wider culture. He also received a lot of awards, including the National Medal of Science.
Good day everyone, I'm Janami Sinahan and I'm going to explain to you the theory of Mr. George A. Miller, which is the magical number 7 plus or minus 2. This theory suggests that the number of objects an average person can hold in their working memory is about 7 plus or minus 2. So these are the breakdown of Miller's theory. In our minds, there's a limit according to Mr. Miller. So first one is the cognitive limitations. Miller observed that humans have a limited capacity for processing information. The number of items we can keep in our short-term memory is generally between 5 and 9. These limitations affect how we organize and recall information. So second is the chunking. To overcome daw sa limitation, the process he proposed the concept of chunking. It means that by grouping individual pieces of information into larger or technique or more manageable units or chunks. For example, na mo give mo cellphone number and then wala kay dalang cellphone or kanang pangsulat, then ang imong button is imo siya i-chunk or i-group para dali ra mainumduman rather than imo siyang i-single long string or kanang imo siyang patason. Then the next one is the information processing. Miller's theory underscores the nature of information processing within constraints of short-term memory. It emphasizes how chunking can enhance memory capacity and facilitate the management of cognitive load. So information processing, it is the analysis of what occurs in a person's mind as he or she receives a little bit of information. So there are three processes which are the encoding, storage, retrieval. So encoding is acquiring information or knowledge. Din naa siya two types, ang shallow ug ang deep. Ang shallow is kung na siya dali ra nimo malimtan while ang deep is dugay siya malimtan. Another type of process is storage. Ang storage is kung asa na nato ibutang mga information nga atong nadawat. Then the next one is the retrieval. Ang retrieval is where you only want to get back information if it is needed. So there are also three major components of memory. These are the sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. So when we say sensory memory, it is recollection of perceptual types of how a stimulus looks, feel, or sound, or hold sensory information for a very brief period of time. Siguro mga seconds lang, like for example, kanang makadungog tao, kanang chirping sa bird, kanang kadali ra jud kayo. So mao na siya ang sensory memory. While ang short-term memory, if a person pays attention sa sensory memory, like for example, nakadungog ka o kon sa bird, then imo siyang gitagaan og attention. So imo na siyang ma-input ng information, we move into short term. Or information that was rehearsed or processed can be quickly forgotten. Usad na ang short term. Imo na siya from sensory to short term. Ang short term is dali ra sad nimo siya malimtan. While when we say long term, it is not quickly forgotten. Then next is Miss Caban. She will further discuss the maintenance rehearsal where it involves repetition of the information.
Encoding, visual encoding, semantic encoding, and tactile encoding. So when we say acoustic encoding, so this is a verbal information that is often stored based in sounds. And the second one is visual encoding. So this is a process of storing visual images. And the third one, we have semantic encoding. So semantic encoding is the use of sensory input that has a specific meaning or applied to context. And lastly is tactile encoding. So this is based on touch and other physical sensation.